everyone, and thanks for joining us for Spain Awakens Week. My name is Marije, and I'm very happy to welcome you to the first virtual experience of Spain Awakens at Casa Vicens. And at Casa Vicens, we are discovering Gaudí's first work in Barcelona, in which he was able to display the full range of his talents. So I, for one, am very excited to see and hear about that. The virtual experience is part of the Tiqets Awakening Weeks, and it's a 6-week celebration of the reopening of over 100 museums and attractions in 6 countries around the world. These venues have worked day and night to reimagine their experience and introduce new hygiene measures to make it safe to visit again. Now these venues are rolling out the welcome mat for you with this online experience, and for those who aren't willing or able to travel yet, but still want to experience and reawaken cultural institutions worldwide, please sign up for these virtual experiences. We will start the experience at Casa Vicens very soon now, but as people are still joining us, I will kick us off by sharing about what to expect of this virtual tour and how to use Zoom. If you have any questions for the presenter, you can submit them by using the chat and the Q&A button at the bottom in the center of the Zoom window. You will have the opportunity to ask questions at the end of the presentation, so feel free to send them through, and we will try to answer as many as possible at the end of the session. You can also vote for your favorite questions by giving a thumbs up, so we will make sure to ask the best questions first. This is a Zoom webinar, so your camera is not on, but you can use the chat to communicate with fellow attendees and the speakers. So you can, for instance, share where you're joining us from or your reactions during the session by using the chat to message all panelists and attendees. If you have any technical difficulties, please use the chat to send a message to all panelists, and we will try to help you out as soon as possible. If you have trouble with your audio, usually leaving the meeting and then rejoining again is the best solution. During the tour, it could be the case that when our tour guide is moving from room to room, the audio might drop or the video freezes for a couple of seconds. It makes you also realize that the beauty of a historical building doesn't always go hand in hand with the modern technology. So when this happens, please bear with us and stay connected. Finally, this presentation will be recorded, and we will be sending the recording to all registrants in the coming weeks. Now, without further ado, I'm happy to hand over to our host for this virtual experience, David, who is going to transport us to the world of Casa Vicens, a house where nature becomes architecture and is an oasis that opens its doors for you to experience today. So David, the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Nice to see you. First of all, let me express my gratitude to Tiqets for this wonderful invitation, especially to you, Maria. And well, actually, we are in a special house. It's the first Gaudí's house here in Barcelona, La Casa Vicens. I think the best way to explain a house, it's actually to know its history. So actually, this house is really, really special. It was built between 1883 and 1885, only 2 years for building this kind of house, you know. Summer house apart from the center of Barcelona. Remember that what we are here, the village of Guasha, was not the center, was not a village. The city has grown a lot in 100 years. So actually this man convinced Gaudí, a young architect, he was 30 years old, to build this house for spend the summer. This family, the Vicens family, spent 10 summer here. And after that, when Manuel Vicens passed away, a second family after the war, the American-Spanish War, came here to inhabit this house. This was the Joubert family. this family wanted to enlarge the house. So now you're gonna see two different houses in a one. If you follow me, please, then you're gonna see these two differences. Now we are in the rooftop, and you see, this is our house. This is the original house, which was designed by Gaudí, and then actually is the first house with the corridor and the rooftop actually for servants and for do the housekeeping tasks. And then we have three chimneys and one tower that you are going to see right now. And this, you see, is like modern houses today, is the enlargement, is the extension of the house, which was done by a second architect, a friend of Gaudí, 40 years after of the building of this part. And you know, it is the same construction. And for that reason, this architect was awarded for doing this extension. Well, now we are going to go downstairs to actually to see the bedrooms and the leisure rooms, and then we are going to know the architecture. So if you follow me, let's go to see this part of the house. Then we go down and you will see a special staircase that we are going to commend right now. It's a little bit different than how it was at the beginning of the construction of this house, but you will know why. This is the second floor, and we're going to talk about at the end. Well, here we are. Are you ready? Then here we are. This is the main bedroom of the house. Actually, the first family slept separately. So actually these were two rooms. As you see, it is full of vegetal motifs. We have some ferns, we have some rushes, we have some strawberries. And if you look up, then you will see a lot of vine leaves because the first owner was actually also, he had a lot of terrains with wine. So actually he was interesting family. Then now it's the moment to see the leisure room. In this case was for women. We have two rooms, one for men and another for women. So actually you're gonna see the difference. If you look up, then you see this dome. This was Mrs. Vicens' room. She spent all afternoons here sewing, reading, and talking with other friends. And then as you see, we have this dome that breaks actually the perspective it should have this tower. Actually, it is called the Juliet's balcony. It's a real special balcony of this house. In the dome, we have the same motifs that you're going to see actually in the facade. So now we're going to pass. This was Mr. Vicens' office, and as you see, it is full of passion flowers with a lot of Christian significance. There are a lot of motifs in this house, especially related to French Mason and also to Christian. Then I think it's the moment to speak about the staircase. Then actually this museum is World Heritage. Then actually it must be protected. But for the building of this museum, to start this museum, we had to do this special staircase to connect all these houses entirely. Until 2014, it is important to know that this house was inhabited. only 6 years ago, was sold to Mora Bank, an Honduran bank, who has done an important investment to recover and to make it visible. So thanks to this initiative, we have preserved this World Heritage House. I know I'm really quick. I'm going to be slower. Then now it's the moment to go downstairs, and we have seen the night rooms, and now it's the moment to see the day rooms. Okay, so I think if all those rooms have surprised you, I think the dining room is going to be better. Here we are. This is the dining room. Actually, both the dining room and living room, it is all the functions, sure. And then if you see, we have 32 paintings by Francis Torres Casana, a friend of the family and a very known painter of that time. And you see this kind of ceilings. Could you imagine what is the material of this ceiling? It is not ceramic, it is not plaster, it is papier mâché. So it is the original one, 130 years. So we are very proud of this house because we have preserved very well this heritage we have. And if you want to take some relax, you can leave to the gallery. Here we have a gallery because this house had a very, very big garden. And then imagine that all this was full of vegetation, plants, and so on. And the family could sit down here actually to listen why the water falls. You know? And we have some fences, we have some palms, and it is full of vegetation because the key is actually that the nature becomes architecture. This is the key. Now we have the crown jewel. Are you prepared? We are going to see it. Ready? Here we are. This is the smoking room of the house. Actually, was the room of Mr. Beast, small to read the newspaper. So as you see, for example, this, it is made with tiles of papier mâché. We have two colors because we are restoring also this, this wall. And if you see, for example, the ceiling, it is made with muqarnas in plaster with a lot of tiqets. This house is a mixture, is a manifesto of Gaudí's art and architecture because it is a mixture of the Islamic, the Catalan traditional art, and especially with some reminiscence of the ancient Greek art. Now, you know, we have two different parts. This is the enlargement. What did happen to this part? Actually, until 2014 was inhabited, so there were a lot of families living here, and that's the reason we have preserved this part, the enlargement, different. But Gaudí's part is preserved as it was in the original. Now we're going to leave and we're going to see the garden. So this is Casa Vicens. This is your house. This was actually the main facade. You should imagine a big waterfall with fountain in front of you that disappeared in 1946. And actually all those part was the terrain of the house. Have you seen all those marigolds? This terrain was full of marigolds. The first moment Gaudí came here, he took the inspiration and he copied the same flower to decorate all the facade. And I'm going to approach to the fence. You see, they are movable. It's a great pleasure, um, actually a great house to spend the summer. Now we're going to see some details. Actually, the second house made by Gaudí was a capricho in the north of Spain, Santander. So you have the same sunflowers or the same band. And after doing this visit, we recommend you to go to our cafeteria. Here we have our cafeteria, which is actually managed by Hoffman, which is an important school of hospitality. So we recommend you the croissants. I think personally they are the best croissants here in Barcelona. And well, we have two things to commend. First is that if you can come along this week, you're gonna see an appetizer for free to take these croissants and actually all the products we have here. And the second thing is that Casa Vicens has an agreement with La Pedrera or Casa Milá, the way you want to call. So you have special reductions to visits. So it's a great opportunity to know Gaudí's heritage. Then now, I think our colleague Mariah is going to show you a video. You can watch a video for the house, and after that, you're going to ask me the questions you want. You see, this is a marigold. This is a symbol of the house. Yeah. So now it's gonna play the video. Okay, perfect.
La primera inspiració, la primera rajola, la primera viga, la primera forja, la primera ceràmica, la primera llar de foc, el primer balcó, el primer fumador, la primera policromia, el primer esgrafiat, el primer escacat, el primer paper maixé i la primera gelosia. El primer trompel oell, el primer cel ras, la primera maçoneria, la primera rondalla, sol, solet, vine'm a veure, el primer mirador, el primer Gaudí. Casa Vicens, la primera casa de Gaudí.
Hello, here we are again. And this is the second floor. This actually was the service room. And here we have profit displays to show you how was the model of the original house. Did you see there were 3 fountains? The most biggest was this one. Then family could go along the waterfall, and since that they could see all the views of the house. Then you're gonna see some pictures, like for example, this is the beginning of the house, 1885. So we're celebrating 130 years of Casa Vicens, and this model represents the second phase. I think this is the enlargement that did the second family, the Juber family. Remember that there has been 2 important families, Vicens and Juber. And this is our house now. We have preserved the garden and the architecture. So now if you have some questions, I can answer you, and I can attend you all the, well, the questions or you have.
Thank you, David, for this wonderful and beautiful tour. So indeed, we are now going to take a couple of questions from the audience. So David, when you're ready, I will start asking the questions. Are the stones or materials all locally sourced, or was it imported from somewhere else?
Do you mean import a material, or?
Yeah, sorry, I will repeat the question. Are the stones, materials all locally sourced, or was it imported from somewhere else?
It was imported for the first time, well, as you said, yes, it is, actually.
Okay, good. A question from Daniela. Why is there no furniture at the casa?
Could you repeat the question, please? I have some problems with the AirPods and I can listen very well.
It's okay. Why is there no furniture at the casa?
Okay, I'm sorry. Because actually it has been 130 years inhabited. So there were a lot of families and each family had their own furniture. We have only preserved the armoires, for example, or the furniture that Gaudí did, but the rest is not preserved, actually. Mm-hmm. That's the reason, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. A question from Ruth. Was Casa Vicens a typical style of house at the time in the 1880s?
Well, thank you, Ruth, for your question. Actually, it was not. It was really exotic. It was so bizarre to have a house like that. So normally the Catalan traditional houses is like, you say, for example, this kind of ceiling is very, very, well, actually very simple. It's in the middle of the countryside. It's not like that. It is quite different. For that, we valorate very positive this kind of opportunity that Mr. Vicens gave to Gaudí. Yeah, that's the reason.
All right, wonderful. Another question. Who's the artist behind all that papier-mâché work?
Actually, the artist was a friend of Gaudí. You have to know that all the artists that work in this house also work with Gaudí in La Sagrada Familia. So actually, he have an important team to help him to build this house. Yeah.
Let me see. A question from Carol. Was Gaudí influenced by Japanese art when designing this house?
Actually, only a little bit. If you've seen the Tribune, it's know that it has a Japanese influence, but actually it is Islamic one. The fences are typical from Egypt, from Cairo, and then it is true that we have some these, but it's only this little influence. At that time, Japanese influence didn't came to Barcelona. It was after that, so style.
Okay, David, we lost you there for a couple of seconds when trying to answer the question. Is it possible maybe to look for another spot in the room where maybe the internet connection is a little bit better?
Yes, perfect. Any problem? Yeah, we can move a little bit. Maybe the connection is better now.
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. So let's continue with a couple of more questions. A question from Carrie. What's the time difference between the construction of Casa Vicens and the other Gaudí buildings in Barcelona?
Well, actually, this was the first house. The second house was in the same year. And after that, I think it's 3 or 4 years after is the third house. So actually it's a short time that Gaudí is creating a lot of buildings, and he's creating one and at the same time another. And he had a lot of work at that time. And actually the same year that he was doing this house, he started the Sagrada Familia. So actually, he was a busy man.
Thank you. A question from Roger. Where were the kitchens originally located?
Let's continue. Actually, the curtains were especially in the bedroom, but we have not preserved only actually the structure. But as you see, this special material, so we have not preserved it.
Question from Abel. Is there a list of plants represented in the house?
Yes, we have, for example, a lot of flowers. Actually, we have some marigolds. As you see, this is the tile of the marigold. We have some flowers, but especially rushes and ferns. These is the more important because behind each plant or flower, it has a significant. It is actually it is choose with a specific motive in this case for Christian significance or French Masonic significance, etc. Yeah.
Thank you. Another question from Ruth. Was Gaudí an artist who started work as an architect or an architect who was very artistic?
Well, actually, he started as well, not an artist. It was a worker. His father was also a worker for metal. So actually he tried to start, well, knowing the materials, the techniques. And after that, knowing very well this kind of techniques, he became a great architect and artist. But he was in the field of art. He was very well influenced by his friends. So actually, he first was a worker, and after that, an architect.
All right. Well, we still have a couple of questions to go, so hope that's okay. Jordana is asking, why was part of the courtyard removed from the entire property?
Yeah, actually, it was after the Civil War. As you know, in Barcelona was really heavy, the effects for the Civil War. So the family had to sold a part of the country yard, as you see, for economical reasons. It is, well, it was really typical or common at that time, you see. We have some buildings and our neighbors then actually, this was the reason.
All right. A question from Jordi. Are the ceramics designed by Gaudí?
Actually, this ceramic was Gaudí found this kind of tiles in a catalog. So he copied and he changed a little bit, but almost the designs were actually in a catalog. He read a lot of actually Owen Jones, an important British architect, and also Viollet-le-Duc. So there were the influence to do the tiles and the decoration of the house.
Thank you. And then one more question coming from Lumi. Was Gaudí traveling before his creation? Yeah, maybe you can answer that one first.
Okay, perfect. So actually, we know that Gaudí traveled a lot. Well, in Spain, he knew very well the south of Spain and Andalusia. So he knew, especially he went to the Alhambra, and as you see, we have a lot of details that is similar than this monument, but not abroad. Maybe the north of Africa he didn't visit.
All right, so I think we ran out of questions actually. I think I first of all want to thank everybody for joining us for this Tiqets Awakening Weeks and the virtual experience. As mentioned before, all of the recordings of our Awakening Weeks experience are going to be sent to you, shared with you after the Awakening Weeks ends. And if you're in Spain, you can also experience Spain Reawakening in person. So visit the tiqets.com/blog/awakening weeks for information on all our Awakening Weeks around the world, including this one. And then, of course, last but not least, I would like to thank David, Mark, and Pilar, and the rest of Casa Vicens team for arranging this magnificent tour. And once again, thank you everybody for joining, and we are looking forward to finding more ways to culture with you soon again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We wish to see you again.